It's him, and it's her. It must be MathsAt. Usual disclaimer applies. Don't trust anything we say, and please don't sue us. We haven't got anything of worth anyway.
Hello, and welcome to MathsAt Wordle, where simply put, we are just three adults trying to find a hole in their diaries so that we can meet up and record a podcast. My name is Thomas Woolley, and joining me now and forevermore is the lexical Hannah Veal and the lickable Ben Parker. How are you doing?
Hello.
Well, this isn't the first time I've been called lickable today, but yes, lovely to be back on the air and our first attempt to organise this as well.
The first time today. Are you often called lickable?
Only by my mother. Hannah, how are you?
Hi. I'm good, thank you. Not a lot going on in maths in my world, apart from just trying to help my son with his homework now and hoping that the day never arrives where it becomes too difficult for me to help him.
You were saying about getting homework from school and being afraid you can't answer it. The trouble is, I'm the sort of second line support for all my parent friends. And my son or my daughter's got this, I can't answer it. And generally, they send me the things which I can't answer either because the teacher got it wrong. And the worst thing is, I don't understand why this is the right answer because they've changed something since I was a kid. No, they haven't changed anything. You just haven't sat there for 6 months while they've taught your son a different way to do long division. Nothing's changed. It's just you don't understand it, and you've got stupider since you were at school.
That is quite possible. That is almost certainly possible, I think.
Yeah, I've seen some YouTube videos of sort of current mathematicians trying to redo their A-levels.
Really?
Which I think is great. And, obviously you can't do them because you don't remember all the tips and tricks that you did there. I'm sure it's like anything else. If anybody redid their driving test, they'd fail.
Right. Okay. Well, next MathsAt will be me and Ben doing an A-level.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that. I think it's just that it's jumping through hoops with those kinds of tests, isn't it? You learn how to do it, and then you're like, oh, this is this question. Yeah. I need to do this. That's why I ended up doing quite well in it, because I just memorized the revision guide almost like sort of pictorially and kind of photographically, and then just jump through the hoops in the exam. But Tom, I was going to ask you, when Hazel does go to school and she gets her first little maths homework, how difficult is it going to be for you not to go, but there's so much more? I
did this to one of my undergraduates, and I think I scared her. We were talking about prime numbers, and I was like, oh, but that leads into linear algebra, and that leads into differential equation. Because what's really quite cool about the new building is you can write on the windows. I don't know if you're meant to, but we do. And so at the end, I had this whole window full of beautiful maths. It was very, beautiful mind-ish. And she was just like, I only asked about prime numbers. Sorry.
So I think this is an interesting thing about mathematics, because the interesting thing comes right towards the end. If you're learning history or something, you can, learn about the Tudors and sort of the French Revolution and lots of battles. And that's quite cool. You don't need to necessarily be a good math historian in order to sort of appreciate some stuff. But maths is just sort of, certainly school maths is like, well, why do you need to know what 7 times 6 is? Right? And those techniques only become really interesting when I would say you're probably in your second or third year as an undergraduate, right?
I would say even probably later because maths is deductive. You're building.
Yeah,
it's you start getting to seeing the current stuff. This is what I do a lot with my undergraduates. I'll paper and show the stuff you're learning now really is the cutting edge where you're using these techniques, and so that they see that there was a great paper it was published this month or last month about heroin usage. I didn't go specifically for it about heroin usage. It was just the first one I picked. And it was using all the techniques of steady states and stability and bifurcations. And the undergraduates loved it. So, yeah.
They love the heroin or the paper?
It's obviously relatable.
Well, yeah, exactly. More relatable. But anyway, why are we here? We are doing a MathsAt Wordle.
Ooh.
Well, now, Ben, why are we doing a MathsAt Wordle?
Well, look, I mean, because people will this. No, we're doing a maths at Wordle. We're doing a maths at Wordle because everyone's playing it, Tom. Except one.
Except you, Tom.
Except me. I honestly have not gone to the website. I assume it's wordle.com, although wasn't it bought recently?
Yeah, it was bought by, it took off, and then within a week, the New York Times had bought it.
I've got to say, all I know about it is sort of from cultural osmosis about people. The thing that really ticked me off for a long time was the Twitter thing, where people would post their, and this is the thing, do you think it would have taken off if you didn't have that Twitter link?
I think that was very clever what they did, actually, because it was very annoying, but very, very effective, because it was like, ooh, look, I'm doing this thing and nobody knows what it is. It's a secret code, and people
and when you're in the know.
Yeah.
Very,
very clever marketing.
So yeah, no, I honestly have never played it. I've never been to the website. I think, this is what I think it is, and you can correct me. And I believe throughout this episode, we may get me to play my first game. It's Mastermind. So you used to play, so your friend would pick a choice of 4 marbles, and then by choosing marbles down a track, I think within 20 guesses, you had to guess their set of marbles. But this is done with a 5-letter word, 6-letter word, 5-letter word. So you pick a word, and it tells you whether there's letters in the right place, and it tells you whether there's letters in the wrong place, and it tells you whether there's letters not in there at all. And you iterate, and you have to get it in 6 guesses.
I believe so.
Yep, absolutely. You've got it.
Well, the thing I found surprising was that everyone does the same one. Is that right?
Well, I think the opinions are varied. So, maybe we should play.
Times now. So here we go. Word.
This was exactly what the audio medium was made for.
This is why we have to be very careful to explain it right. So guess the word in 6 tries. Each guess must be a valid 5-letter word. So it has to be. How valid do we have to go? Anyway, hit the enter button to submit. After each guess, the color of the tiles will change to show how close your guess has to. Now, I think the thing is, being colorblind, I think this may be slightly more difficult for me anyway, because I don't think I can tell the difference. What color is the W?
Green.
And what color is the I?
Yellow.
Right. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to need help from the audience. Those two. Okay.
Well, need to work on their accessibility, clearly.
Obviously.
So in front of you, you have a grid of squares, 5 by 6. And that basically denotes your 6 attempts at a 5-letter word. So you start at the top and you literally just think of any 5-letter word. Some people like to start with the same one each time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you, think what kind of a word might you start with to maximize your chances of getting at least one right?
I like, but let's go back a second with some people choose the same one.
Mm-hmm.
Surely you would always choose. It's like the lottery thing. Why would you change your numbers? If you found a good set, you want. But anyway, let's go to your actual question. Well, what word do I want to start with? So a 5-letter word, obviously.
Yes.
All the letters to be different because I want to maximize my potential guesses. So, shoes would not be a good one because the S and the S at the beginning and the front would be.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yep.
Okay. Some vowels, I assume. We want to get some vowels in there.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the other, so E is the most popular. Is this English or is this American?
It is American.
Yeah. So that's interesting with the U thing. There's no U in color or humor.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd want to put E's in there. You'd want to put T's in there. Maybe an S. You get some like distribution of your letters, and the most popular letters you want to have a word with those in. That's what I'm thinking. Is that a good strategy?
Sounds like a good strategy. You could also choose a word, and this is what my mum advised me to do. Choose a word with the most number of vowels that you possibly can to kind of rule out what vowels you're using from the get-go. So the word she suggested to use was audio.
Audio. Very good. Oh, I like that.
So you can
I use that now because you've told me. Because I was thinking, I would say my first thought was the word later. It's got the T in there, the E, the A, but I like audio, so I think I'm going to go with you here.
We're going to go. Oh, he's typing it in.
Here, yeah. So I'm going to, Ben, did you want to give me any other tips, or shall I go with audio?
No. I think you've got some very good reasoning, which we can criticize later.
Okay. So my first word is audio. I'm going to press enter. So let me. A and O are in the word, and I can't tell the color. So you tell me, are they in the right place or the wrong place?
So they're right. So A and O are correct, but they are in the wrong place.
Right. And then so U, D, and I are just not in the word at all.
Correct. So now they're grayed out on your keyboard down there to
right.
Like Hangman, where you kind of cross off the letters or you write them down as you've done it. I mean, It's basically Hangman, isn't it? To be honest.
Yes, it is. It's basically Hangman. Although it's got the additional. In fact, it's like even easier. But no, it's harder than Hangman because when you say "Can I have an O," it'll always be put in the right place. But
you do get fewer goes than Hangman. Hangman, you have lots of goes because there's all that sort of mucking around with the scaffolding, and do you put the crossbar in? And here you only have 6 goes.
But I don't know if you can see one of my tabs there. It's called the 25 best Hangman words. So a little bit later on, when we've done finishing about Wordle, if we have time, there are other word games which have been looked at mathematically. So anyway, so I know A and O are in there, but in the wrong place. So my initial thought is coats, maybe. Coats is a good word with an O and an A in different places, but I assume I don't want to use the O and the A because I know that they're there. Oh, could I have repeated letters?
You can, yes. So my advice now would be you definitely use the A and the O in your next one, but put them in different places. So you're already narrowing it down, going, okay, so A and O are not at the beginning and the end of the word. So what's the most, and then you're kind of thinking, okay, where's the most likely other place that a vowel will fall in a 5-letter word is probably going to be the second letter, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm going to say Ben, do you have any thoughts? Because like I say, my first thought is coats.
Well, this sounds like very good advice. Very good advice to me.
So COATS. Let's enter. Now, I C and an O in the right place. Is that right?
Yeah, so C and O are correct now. So your word starts with a C and an O. A is still not in the right place, and T and S do not appear.
I'm not there now. Now this is why I don't do Wordle, because my lexicographical knowledge is very poor. But here we go.
But yeah, you've got everything to play for, really, because you've got loads of letters left.
Conga.
Oh, conga's an interesting word.
Thank you, Ben. So.
Okay. So we've got C, O, and A in the right place. A being at the end.
Can I ask the audience?
I don't think the audience will help you.
There's 2 things that you might want to do here. You might want to eliminate some letters. So you could do a completely random word that you haven't changed before, you haven't used before. Okay, so just to eliminate some letters to give you a clue.
Oh, I see. So we don't have to use the A, say, and I could go for Corfu.
Well, yes, but you don't even have to use the C and the O.
That's true. So that's I like that. Yeah, let's get rid of.
You could put poopy in or something, for example. I'm not saying you should. Sometimes I just put rude words in because you can, and knowing that somebody at the end of the data analysis is reading. Yeah. Tom has put P and E.
I don't want
the letters you haven't used. Yeah.
I'm just looking for letters I haven't used. So
what about perky? Perky, we haven't done.
Oh, there we go. Perky. Thank you, Ben. Perky. P-E-R-K-Y. P-E-R-K-Y. None of them.
Oh, no.
All right. But that's good. That's good in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it does eliminate things, doesn't it? Yeah.
Audio conga perky. Right. Okay.
So I can think of. Well, so should we give you some help here? Because
please do.
So I can think of 2 words it might be. Okay.
Right.
Comma.
Okay.
Okay, and Coco are the two that I can see that will fit.
Yes. Okay. So I would like comma, I think.
So, but well, now hang on, because if it's just two, then you can like eliminate them one by one, and you'll get there. But if there's more than two I haven't seen, then.
But I put Coco in, that I don't get any more letters eliminated. At least comma eliminates an M.
Yeah, but you're down to your last guess now.
I don't care. I'm pressing.
All right, okay, you're pressing. Oh, there we go. It's comma.
Comma.
Oh, you have a winning streak of 100% record, and your guess distribution is 5, and you only have less than 3 hours to wait to your next Wordle.
Well done, everybody. Well done, Ben. In fact, because you saw the words. Okay, that was extremely stressful. I'm glad I don't play Wordle. Shall we go back and now talk about what's interesting about it?
Yes. Why is it interesting, mathematicians?
Should we go to the math zone?
Oh, I wouldn't even go to the Wordle zone, but we can certainly go to the math zone.
The math
zone. Lovely. We have some traditions here, Ben. Some traditions.
Yes. Gosh, we've forgotten. So, why is it interesting? I hear you say, Hannah.
I don't know. You tell me.
I was going to let you record it, so that bit would flow seamlessly.
It's almost like we don't do pantomime with each. Oh my goodness.
We have a script then. To the math zone.
Okay, so mathematicians, why is Wordle interesting and why is it mathematical?
Well, look, I really like Wordle. Okay, one, because it's a fun game and it tests your lexicographical muscles, but really because it's just mathematics doled up in word form, but actually in quite an interesting way. So we have this concept in mathematics called information theory. Okay, this took me a lot of time studying to sort of actually come to this thought, which I think sounds obvious, that experimentation is all about gaining information.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the reason we do stuff is to increase our information about stuff, and that might be something trivial, like how do we sing like Beyonce, or it might be something important like life-saving drugs. Not that Beyonce is not important. Whoa, Queen Bee will not be happy when she listens to that if I say this.
And you're also saying that Beyonce's on great drugs. Is that what we're saying?
I would definitely not say that for legal reasons. Definitely not. So I think what a lot of mathematicians are trying to do now, computer scientists and statisticians and all kinds of people, are trying to get the most information out of some process with the smallest amount of resources, essentially.
I mean, what I say is it's not just researchers as well, it's also companies. You're saying this, it's very important for experimental design and all these things, but it's big business. Facebook.
Yeah.
It's just information and they make billions.
Information is power. Okay. So we can actually define information very rigorously in mathematics as being a sort of narrowing a probability. All right. So when Tom started his game of Wordle, he had all the words in the universe that were possible. They were all
5-letter words. All 5.
5-letter words in the universe were possible. So let's say there's 1,400 of them, whatever there are in the dictionary. Okay. Yeah. But there's a 1 in 1,400 chance you'd pick the right one. And as you eliminate more, the chances go up and up and up and up. So we're narrowing the probability here. Okay. And games are a really good way of saying, well, how do we do these experiments where Tom sort of goes out and asks something about the world, which word is right, to narrow this probability. Okay. So let's play another game. Okay. Let's play. So, Hannah, we're going to play a game, and I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100.
It's 69.
Okay. You ruined it, Tom. I'm going to have to think of another one. Okay. You could ask as many questions as you like, and on your go, I can either say you got it or yes or no. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So just for the readers at home, can you put your fingers in your ears? And I'm going to no, not you. You can listen, Tom. That's fine. No, Tom, take your fingers out your ear.
Oh, sorry. You are only Hannah. Sorry.
This looks like my son's maths homework. Okay. Yes. Let's.
The number is 12. The number is 12. Right. Here we go. Right, we're on.
I heard you because you
Damn you!
shouted it into your microphone. Room. Should I just leave the room?
Yeah, do that. Do that. Good thinking.
Right.
Good thinking.
Or I could just hang on. I could just mute my computer, couldn't I? Okay. Right. Ready? Go.
The number is 43. 43.
You're lucky I can't lip read.
Hannah,
Yes.
over to you.
Right. Is it in the 40s?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
I mean, that's a good start, I've got to say. Yeah.
Is it 44?
No.
Oh. Is it an even number?
No.
Good. Yes, very nice.
Is it divisible by 3?
No.
Oh, that's a good question. Wonderful question.
Uh,
I think that only takes out one of them.
Oh, does it?
Oh,
I've completely lost track of like what it could be now. Can
so
you
41,
this?
41, 43, 46, or 49, 47, 49. And you asked if it was divisible by 3. Ben said no, so that takes out 45. So you currently have 41, 43, 47, or 49.
Okay, 47. I can't think of any other clever questions that I can ask that can narrow down any of them. Is it 47?
No.
Is it 49?
No.
Is it 41?
No.
43.
Yes, you got it right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's such a great start. It went downhill very
Yeah, so I was interested in the first, you said, is it in the 40s? And you happened to get lucky because it was 43. But actually, mathematically, the best thing you can do is to ask questions that divide the remaining things in 2. Okay.
One thing I really liked you did. So my initial intuition was that, is it less than 50?
Yes.
But what I really liked, which I also really appreciate, was, is it an even number? That would also knock out a half, and I think would also be very.
So any question where you divide what's remaining in 2, here is the best thing to do, right? And it doesn't mean you won't get lucky. So if I say, is the number 12, it's my first guess, and I happen to get it right, 1 in 100 times, I'm laughing. But 99 in 100 times, I've got absolutely no information about what the true value is. Okay.
After I asked about even numbers, I should have said something like, is it less than 45? And then I would have knocked out all of those higher numbers. Yeah. Okay, I've got that now.
Exactly right. And so the powerful thing is getting rid of the wrong answers here. Okay, and it turns out if you've got sort of 2 choices, yes or no, then splitting things in half is the right thing to do. So Thomas mentioned Guess Who.
Oh, Guess Who? One of my favourite childhood games.
Okay.
Hold on. They've obviously redesigned them. Can we talk about Eric?
Well, you talk about Eric because obviously the listeners can't see this.
I mean, also, Eric has I think he's had a botched facelift. I think Eric, but also Philippe. I think Philippe's upside down.
Well, why don't you just describe Philippe to the listeners? So Thomas,
well, I think I just did. Imagine a broom.
Yes.
A bald broom. Actually, it looks like someone's got a Roomba and put a mop head over it.
I tell you what it looks like is if you watch Live and Kicking in the 90s, there were 2 leprechauns on that. And it looks like one of those.
Oh, Hannah, you've just aged us all. Beautiful.
Did you watch Live and Kicking in the 90s?
Yeah.
Was Live and Kicking the one with the bungalow, or was that?
The
No,
bungalow.
that was Dick and Dom. That was Dick and Dom in the bungalow.
Oh yeah, no, we're way too old for Dick and Dom in the bungalow.
This was Zoe Ball and Jamie Theakston.
Oh, right. Okay. I think you're a few years younger than me, so I think I've moved on.
Millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, we're currently showing Hannah a series of 24 people who all have different characteristics. Any of those you like to look at of Hannah or Thomas as potential life partners?
Oh, I mean, that's a different question than what I was thinking. I've got to say, I'm drawn to Isabel. Isabel's a bad girl.
Yes.
She would treat you bad, but you'd always come back for more. But Anne's a more motherly type. So I'm they're the two I'm drawn to, but I think I would end up with Anne.
So Anne looks a bit like Paul O'Grady, to be honest, to me. What about you, Hannah? Who would you pick out as a chum from this selection?
Anne looks like Bella Lasagna from Fireman Sam.
It does again, and you've aged us again there, Hannah.
Can you tell that I watched a lot of television as a child?
Yes.
And
Yes.
did maths.
You did work in television for a while, so
I did. That's the only reason it's justified.
Research. Okay, so Anne's not the one for you then, Hannah.
No, I think Theo looks like he'd be quite a passionate lover.
Yeah, looks like.
What gives that away? What mean?
I don't know.
The eyebrows, I think those are thick eyebrows. There's some.
Herman looks like he just wants a friend.
Herman just looks like he wants a toupee. But okay, so interesting enough, I did some research on Guess Who, and they've had to update the cards due to present a more
diverse.
More diverse. So I think they've upped the number of women slightly.
I figured out something. Eric is in the police protection situation because he was originally Hans.
Right.
He's had to shave his moustache off and put a hat on. I think we've just found a mob enforcer.
So, and also interestingly, they had changed the names for different languages. So, different languages have the same people, but they have different names to them. And it's all on the Wikipedia page. It's absolutely fascinating, the amount of thought that goes into this game. But we're looking at basically 24 different people. Why don't
you have the history of does it tell me about Eric and his botch facelift and Philippe being upside down? And
I am sure there's Guess Who fanfic. Well, why don't you pick Hannah, and Tom, you can play.
Okay, the person I have chosen is Charles.
Charles. Good choice. Thomas, we're ready. Come back from wherever you are.
So I will admit, all I heard was Ben saying "good choice." So good choice. Right. Anyway, coming into this, I will go with: are they wearing glasses?
Yes.
Oh, they are wearing glasses. Now, hold on. I can draw on the screen. So they are wearing glasses. So I can have Daniel. I can have Sarah. I can have Anne. I like Anne. I can have Charles. And what's her name? Sophie, and I believe.
Oh, don't forget Paul.
Where's a Paul? Paul.
Second row, far end.
Oh, those are cheeky small glasses there. Almost didn't stop them.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm down.
So you've gone down to 6 from 24. Well done.
Again, good start there. Right. Now, would they be a stereotypically male name?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm down to just the 3. I'm down to Daniel. I'm down to Charles. I'm down to Paul. 2 bald, 1 hair, 1 moustache. Oh, so many good choices here. Are they bald?
Yes.
Oh, and he cuts Paul out. So I'm down to Daniel or Charles. Do they have a moustache?
Yes.
Ah, it's my granddad, Charles.
correct.
Woohoo!
Said yes to every single one of your questions.
So, well, that's not the first time. So, do you think that's the best game that Thomas could have played?
I was certainly very on that first go.
It was a pretty good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't have narrowed it down much more than that, much quicker. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I think he was lucky, frankly. I think with the first one, he was lucky. You see, he went from 24 to 6, but if you'd have got it wrong, he would have been an 18. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
he has learned nothing from our 100 numbers game, okay? And he just chanced it. And both of you, unfortunately, were lucky, but it's the wrong it's the wrong thing to do if you want to minimize the average number of goes. And this is really important, okay?
I thought Guess Who was designed such there was no 50-50 grouping.
Well, so it sort of is, but okay. So, we're still trying to do the same thing. But I guess the point is that your optimal strategy varies depending on how the questions are answered, right? Okay. So if you say, is it male or female? And it comes back as female, you're not going to ask whether someone's bald. Okay, because there are no bald female characters. All right.
Oh, Guess Who? Your diversity needs more diversity.
Right, exactly. So that there's correlations between males and beards and glasses and races and whatever it happens to be. Okay, so the optimal strategy is less clear. Like what we should do if we're not allowed the stupid, is it on the left-hand side of the board? Is it between A and M? If we're actually playing properly, the optimal strategy is less clear. The optimal strategy depends on what the true answer is, right?
I mean, I did once hear that being mathematicians and being very nerdy, we can take games far too seriously. And I once did hear about logicians trying to work out optimal chains. So it wasn't just does the person have glasses? It was, does the person have glasses or a mustache or a hat? And then you could either say yes or no. And then they would say, do they have glasses or a hat or a beard? And by mixing all of these things together, you're creating a Venn diagram and cutting out.
So that's really, so we could come up with an optimal tree that on average would get us to the answer in the quickest number of goes possible by asking questions like that, or however so and people have done it. There is an optimal way to play Guess Who. People have sort of published research on how to do this, believe it or not. And the answer itself is uninteresting, but
No, you can't say that, Ben. I want to know the strategy. Come on.
But yeah, I want to know the optimal strategy for Wordle. Am I doing the right thing by choosing audio every single time?
Right. So this brings us on to Wordle. Right.
I want to know. Oh, Ben.
The best guess that you can make depends on how you want to, or what you decide your optimal strategy is.
Oh,
okay?
So there's different strategies.
Right. So, for example, do you want to win on average in the fewest number of goes, or do you want to guarantee you always win in 6? Do you want to keep the streak alive?
Oh, interesting.
Right. And it's the same in Guess Who. If I said to you, okay, you've only got 2 goes, right, then you'd play a different strategy to if you had 3 goes or 4 goes, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Right. And same thing, if you went into a casino and you had 10 minutes to make £1 million, you'd take a different strategy to if you had an infinite amount of time to make £1 million.
I mean, 10 minutes to make £1 million, surely you just try and hold up the casino.
Well, you put it all on red several times, or put it all on number 17 or whatever.
I still think my would be quicker. Yeah.
Well, you're probably right, yeah. The difference between the games we've played, the 100 questions and the Guess Who, is that Wordle doesn't give you 2 answers, right? For each of the words you guess, it gives you either green, yellow, or black, either right bit in the wrong place, or not right, for 5 different tiles. So you've got actually 3 to the 5 different answers from any grid for anything you put in. So every guess, I'm giving you 3, 9, 27, 80, 240. There's 243 different responses that Wordle can give you. The work I've seen uses something called entropy. okay, to reduce the state. So what you want to do is you want to ask the question which kind of on average gives you the most certainty of having the fewest words left. Okay. And it's the same thing as in the 100 game. Okay. You don't want to say, is it higher than 4? Because if you get it wrong, you'll have 96 less to choose from. You want to choose words that are guaranteed to eliminate as many as possible. The only way I think you can do it is to use a computer. And the computer will check all possible words that can be done by the question setter against all possible words that can be put in by the player. So in the original Wordle, so the guy that invented Wordle just invented it for his friends to play. Okay, or so he says. He didn't want to sell out to the New York Times for £1 million. And I can believe that because, like, who's going to play it? Who's going to buy a word game for like £1 million, right? But he published the complete list of words on the that could be used on the internet. Okay,
so he had a dictionary that his Wordle code would call and said, pick one randomly from this.
Exactly, and actually it was sequential, so you could cheat. Okay, so you knew on any day what he was going to choose. But interestingly as well, he allowed some words which could be guessed, which weren't in his word list. So, for example, the real answer is never going to be penis, but you are allowed to use penis as a guess word.
Oh, right.
Right? Because can you imagine, that like one of the words was something like colour, COLOR, and everyone in the UK was like, but this is outrageous. We didn't fight the war to use American words in our word games. Okay. So actually, it's not quite symmetrical, but, leaving aside the technicalities and what dictionary you use and whatever, we can work out what the best word to guess is if we're just considering the first guess on just by doing a computer search.
Is it penis?
Well, actually, penis is pretty good. Penis is nearly optimal. But on my, so I actually did this for fun because this is what we mathematicians do, and it is sort of vaguely connected to my research. And do you want to guess what the best word actually is?
Oh, yes, I really want to know.
Yeah, well,
so, I mean, audio, so the audio, this idea of getting your vowels first seems to be pretty popular. So I'd say something like that, audio.
So the problem with audio is it doesn't eliminate a lot of words.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of counterintuitive because, you're likely to hit a lot, but you don't eliminate a lot.
So you want to get rid of word letters that are very much used, like so something like steam, then the S, the T, the E.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think when you if you get your vowels right, you're still kind of none the wiser as to what that word can be, because a word, a sort of blanks with vowels, you just can't form the shape of a word, can you? Like if you had a load of consonants with the vowels missing, you'd be able to guess that word a lot more easier, wouldn't you?
Which is why most internet companies are called Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat without the vowels, because you understand the words still without the vowels.
Yes.
And also position is important as well. Like Y will quite often occur at the end of a word, like, holly, but will very often not occur at the beginning. So, audio maybe has some problems there. But the problem with audio is, for the first word anyway, is that it doesn't eliminate a lot. So after extensive computer search, which took me far too long, the best word I found was crane. C-R-A-N-E.
I never would have guessed that.
No. But the story doesn't stop there. The best thing you could do in your second go depends on your results of the first one.
Yes, because it's like less than 50, bigger than 50. So where do you guess next is based on your first word.
Right. So what you have to do is you effectively have to work backwards to what you would have done in your second go, okay, which will then tell you what you should have done in your first go, right? So
my mind is exploding. I'm sorry.
Let's pretend the true word is maths, okay? And let's say, let's suppose we open with crane because that's always the best word. Okay. Is that necessary? So crane and maths, we've got one letter.
We'd have the
right.
A wrong.
We've got it right, but in the wrong place. Okay.
Yes.
But what would you actually do if you saw, if you tried crane and the true word was maths? Okay. what word would you put in there? So we have to do another search there to find out what the best word is at step 2 if the true word is maths. Right? But it does not.
Hold on. You're assuming the word is maths, but we don't know what the word is.
Right. So you have to search over all possible words to what you'd do at step 2 based on what would happen if you put crane in at step 1. Okay. And it turns out that
Blimey.
Given that you've got 2 goes, okay, the best way to eliminate words after 2 goes isn't necessary to put crane as the first word because you've got a second guess.
Right. Now I'm with you. It's going back to the guess who you were saying. Depending on how many goes we have, tells us what the optimal questions are. Right.
Sorry. So you're saying don't use crane at the beginning of Wordle.
If you had one guess,
more than 2 goes. If you only had 2 guesses, use crane. If you have 6 guesses, use something else.
Exactly right. Okay. So the combination of using crane and something else is not as good as the combination of using, I don't know, adieu and something else, for example. Okay. So you can't just optimize. You can't just look at the first word without considering what your second guess would be. So it turns into a major computational headache. Okay, because
does it grow exponentially? This feels exponential.
Right. So you've got several thousand words, each of which, you've got several thousand words which you could put in any order. So you could have, word 1 followed by word 17 followed by word 187, or you could do it the other way around. And for each of these chains through the puzzle, you have to evaluate what the performance would be against all possible words that could be the word you have to guess.
Oh, blimey.
So it essentially becomes an exercise in computing.
Yeah.
So I did start doing this, and then I found that somebody else had done it better. And the excellent 3 blue, 1 brown, or 3 brown, 1 blue.
3 blue, 1 brown, I think.
Has got a video, and they've got a team of computer programmers which have basically reduced this to just a computer programming problem, which tell you everything that you want to let go.
Wow.
So what's the 2 best? What's the 2 best then?
I can't remember. but crane is not bad. Okay, so the optimal 1-step game, crane is pretty good up there.
So are you saying then really that the only way to actually be optimally good at Wordle is to be a computer, because the human brain cannot compute the number of options, and really a lot of it is just lucky guessing?
Yeah, so we simulate all possible games and work out which one on average gives you the lowest score. And disappointingly, that's what it is. Okay. So
when people boast about their, scores on Twitter, really they're just saying, "Look at me, I got lucky," rather than "Look how good I am at Wordle."
This is what we saw with our guesses. We got lucky both on our very first guesses, and it looked like magic that I got it in 5 guesses and you got it in. So a lucky guess can really push you in the right direction. Exactly,
and the one thing we've learned from doing maths is that we don't often get lucky. Okay. but it does depend on your criteria. If you want to be good on average, then you have to follow the mathematical procedure. So one interesting other thing as well is that we've assumed throughout that every possible word is chosen at random. Okay. Now, if you're the question setter of the New York Times, okay, and you know that everyone's choosing adieu as the guess word, are you going to put it in?
If I was the person who coded up Wordle, I'd have set it and forget it.
Right. But since it's been taken over, we're not sure it's the same strategy. We're not sure it's the same order.
Everybody said that when it got taken over, it got a lot harder.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So we don't know. Okay, but the other thing as well, of course, is that what's optimal for a computer might not be optimal for a human, because there's some really weird words that are actually fairly good. Okay, like axial or something like that might be a good word, but humans just don't know them.
Axial.
But axiom. Sorry, axiom. I think it's
axiom. It's a good word. It's a good word. Good mathematical word.
So that that may be a good word, but people just don't know it, right? I'm not saying it is a good word, but it's the kind of word that is a good word, right?
What else is a good word? Axolotl.
Oh, it's a very good word.
And this is so cute. Can we talk about axolotls as a palette? They're such cute little
Let's go
animals.
off on a tangent. They're very cute, aren't they?
They have like a little smile on their face. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
To the axolotl zone.
Right.
Just me on that one. Okay. So I mentioned earlier I had a few tabs open because Wordle is not the first word game that mathematicians had a look at. There's a program out there called Mathematica, and one thing that people with Mathematica like to do are play games with it. So this one here, the author of this blog post, who works for Wolfram, the people who create Mathematica, he was asked by his daughter, if I remember the game correctly, on a train journey from Oxford to London, what would be the best word to start with? As the chooser, what word would be least guessed? So again, let's talk about strategy. What kind of word would you want?
I'm thinking of like a word with an inexplicable number of consonants, because the the person will alternate between the two. Probably on top of that, the consonants that are used the least in kind of, the least frequently.
Hannah, perfect. Wonderful. That's what they did. I mean, again, I'm not saying this is the best way of doing it, but their strategy was to look at the distribution of letters in the English language and then pick words where those letters appeared least. And so here is the table they came up with. You want short words, because then the chance of them guessing a letter is minimized. You want obscure letters. So the best for those listening rather than watching, jazz. Sorry, all I can see is, sorry. You can see jizz there somewhere. And you see, where's jizz? Yes.
No, it's because they're all mushing into one word because they're all very similar, and all I can see is the word jizz.
Yeah, strangely enough, the word jizz, I don't think actually is there.
Not actually on there. Is it a real word? Is it in the dictionary?
Oh, jizz must be by now. Fizzed is there. Faffed, jiff, jazzers appears a lot, but jazz is the best four-letter word because it's short.
Yeah.
It has Z and J, very obscure letters to be chosen. It has a double Z. So if you see a four-letter word, you'd be thinking like boat, cars. But the fact it's got two Zs in there means it's doubly hard to think about because you cut down the number of letters that they guess. But no, in terms of what you were thinking, like spry, it doesn't have any vowels, S-P-R-Y. But unfortunately, it has an S in there, which makes it more guessable. But yes, jazz, J-A-Z-Z, is the best Hangman word to start with. And I think they have some. They've got some more longer words in here. It's jizzed in there, joked, joking, jigging. Still no jizzed. I don't think jizzed is in there. Maybe you're right. It's not in the dictionary they used. But the other one, which I quite like, that they did with Mathematica, is they were linking words. So Mathematica has this piece of code called synonym, where it looks at its dictionary. And you give it a word, like 0, and it will give you all the synonyms. And then you can pick one of those words and find all the synonyms. Pick one of those words, and you get a tree structure, like Ben was talking about. Ooh. So what this person did was find ways of linking words, like 0 to hero. And they do say, some of the words are more obscure meanings in their etymology. But so to link 0 to hero, you go 0 to zip, zip to energy, energy to push, push to force, force to wedge, and wedge to hero.
What? How is wedge connected to the word hero? Sandwich. Sandwiches. That's the only thing I can think of. A wedge is a sandwich and a hero is a sandwich.
No, I think wedge in this sense is it. It's an old way of calling the hero of a story the wedge.
Is it? I've never heard.
I may be wrong. But yes, so there are ways of linking antonyms, which I quite like. So there's where's the one that's back to front, back to stake to bet to look to front, and then they played with what's the longest set of links you can have, and here they are here. So dejectedness to expiate, 11 links. Mullishness to heterosexuality, and non-recreational to heterosexuality. You can link them all through synonyms. Because actually, there's an interesting point about this. There's been a rise in websites that will try and get around plagiarism by taking text and creating synonyms of words in it. So it beats, hopefully beats vectors. But sometimes they get it a bit wrong. So if you're writing about heroes and all of a sudden you've got the word wedge appearing, be a bit confused. So, but those are the idea behind it.
Well, it would start to look like you've run it through Google Translate, wouldn't it?
Also a great fun game to do with lyrics.
Yes.
The final one to show, which is the longest word ladder. So you may have seen these. This is what I thought Wordle was for a long time. You know, you've got a word best, and it tells you, the next word is a strong woody fibre obtained especially from the phloem of various plants. Ooh, blimey. And you have to change one letter in best to get the answer to that, and that's bast, apparently. And then a vigorous blow, and that would be bash. A vessel containing liquid, that would be bath. And then finally, a science dealing with the logic and quantity of shape and arrangement, bath to math. So that's a word ladder. And they wanted John McClune, who used to, I don't know if he still works, but he worked at Wolfram at this point. What's the longest word ladder? And so for the viewers watching at home, here it is. How long is it? Blimey, it's that long. However long that is.
Wow.
You can link charge, a quantity of explosive to be set off at one time, the charge, all the way to Comedo. And I will. This can be the puzzle zone. You can go, and then the answer is there. There's the answer. People who want it, it is there. If you want to go have a challenge, link charge to Comedo using those definitions.
Changing one letter at a time.
Well, I'll tell you what. So let's try the first one. So we've got charge, exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind of category. Change, I would say, is that one. Occurring or appearing or singled out by chance. Ooh. So that change to chance? Would it be
chance, I think, must be the next one.
That's a bit of a cop-out question.
I would say, I assume that they just took the definition. I mean, that's a poor definition if it refers to...
No, because chance is number 4, so I don't think it can be.
Oh, chances. Okay, so number 4, of a certain outcome. Oh, especially fraught with risk. Yes, that does sound okay.
Oh, no, that's chancey. So yes, chance, then chancey.
Okay. Then chant would be a rhythmical work song originally sung by sailors. So I assume that would be chant.
No, shanty.
Shanty. Yeah.
There we go. So there you go. So anyway, let us come back to have we spoken enough about maths and words and maths? And the devil said, "Let there be the alphabet in the maths."
I just think it's fascinating. It's the rich structure of the English language that makes these games very interesting. Because if we were just doing the higher and lower numbers, it would be very uninteresting. But even Guess Who, like there's some structure there, but the structure is quite simple. But this structure of English language makes it a very, very interesting thing to play word games on, which I guess is
why very frustrated that you haven't told us the Guess Who strategy. I'm very frustrated with
that. Well, we'll post it on our blog post, and but yeah, there is an optimal Guess Who. There is also an optimal strategy for Monopoly, and most games mathematicians have solved or ruined, as we say.
And with that, let's go. Interestingly, let's see how we play this. To the score! So, Hannah and Ben, would you like to give me a random scoring system, a random point upon that scoring system that tells the viewer and the listener how good you think Wordle is?
Well, prior to this recording this podcast, I would have given it, I'm going to go on a scale of 6 because you get 6 tries. I would have given it a 5 out of 6 because I did enjoy it. But now that I know that it's basically futile because, because it's just luck and doesn't really constitute any kind of skill with words, I am degrading it. I'm downgrading it to a 2 out of 6.
Anna, you got existential there. There's nothing means anything. The universe will eventually die, and we are
destroyed. Yet another tiny little bright spark of joy in my life.
That's what we do with mathematics. We solve things and all joy is gone.
And to Ben, a random scoring system and a random point on that scoring system. How good is Wordle?
I'm going to give it a green, 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 yellow, yellow. Almost perfect.
Oh, interesting. I'm also going to rate it on a scale between green and yellow. And since I can't tell either of them, I'm going to go right in the middle with blue. And so, do we have anything left, or shall we leave the listeners and viewers to the rest of their days?
I just wanted to give a small shout out to an alternative. If Wordle has now been,
there's loads of them now, isn't there?
If Wordle has now been ruined for you, dear listener / viewer, and that is Hurdle.
Hurdle. Okay.
Hurdle, HERDLE, which is my favourite because it's a game that I used to play in the pub with my friends who were in a band, and it's basically along the lines of that Never Mind the Buzzcocks round, where you sing the intro to a song and you have to guess it. But what Hurdle does is it plays you 1 second of the intro to a pop song.
Is it the actual pop song that you're hearing, or is it like a MIDI version?
No, it's the actual song. It's the actual original recording. And the idea is you have to get it in 6 seconds or less, ideally less. So I have got some in 1 second.
Oh, I see. So it increased to 2 seconds, then 3 seconds. Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Are you good at it, Hannah?
I'm very, very good at it.
Well, I have no doubt about it. Ben, anything from you?
That would have been a great thing to do on the radio, as opposed to as opposed to do what we did. Thank you. Thank you for sticking by us, listeners. We'll be back sometime, I'm sure.
And with that, thank you for listening. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much, Hannah, for joining me in this futile attempt in our lives, floating through space on a dirt rock where it means nothing. And thank you to the listeners for listening and passing away the hours of your life with us. We have been Maths. I have been Thomas Woolley.
I wish I hadn't been anything now, but I'm still Ben Barker.
Do I have to say who I am?
No. No. We're going to leave it with that. We have been Maths and winning maths, losing a life. Good night.
Night.
You have been watching
Gosh,
Thomas
that
Woolley,
got dark.
Ben Parker and Hannah Veer. Intro and outro music was Clonky Donkey, and the incidental stings were Cartoon Bank Heist, all from YouTube Audio Library.